First step of the process is to drain all the fluids from the transmission. We will begin by removing the torque converter first. Next, flip the transmission over and remove the drain plug. You'll need a 10mm Allen wrench. Place a oil pan under the transmission while flipping it back over to drain the fluids. Once the fluids are drained, flip the transmission over on its back with the oil pan facing up. Remove the Torx T40 bolts. There should be 13 of them. Next, remove the start-stop accumulator, connector, and valve body by removing all the larger T40 Torx bolts. Remove the 5 bolts holding the mechatronics to the valve body and disconnect the harness. Clean off any excessive transmission fluid. Cut the plastic rivet welds off to expose the metal cover holding the mechatronic. An ultrasonic knife was used to make things easier, but you can use a drill or other sharp tools to cut off the plastic rivet weld. Next, use a Dremel tool to cut open the metal cover. For safety, use a vise or have someone help you hold the mechatronic in place. Clean off the sharp edges with a razor, file, and deburring tool. Use a razor to cut off the lead wires coming from the mechatronic to the contact pads. Place the PCB on the pads to determine which location will be soldered. Apply solder paste and pre-tin those pads. Apply solder paste on the PCB and pre-tin the pads as well. Apply solder to the tip of the iron and allow the solder on the 2 contact pads to join together in a puddle. Use isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol to clean off excessive solder paste and contaminant. Use a multimeter to test the contact leads. There should be no continuity with the metal cover. Prepare the outer cover surface in order to apply sealant or gasket maker. Apply sealant to the inside of the new Domi Works cover included in the PCB kit. Apply sealant to the outer cover surface. Clean off any excessive sealant. Place the Domi Works cover over the PCB and use a clamp to hold it in place. Clean off any excessive sealant. Trimming of the plastic cover will be required. Test fit the cover and mark what needs to be cut off. Use a Dremel tool or a hot knife to cut away the excessive plastic. An ultrasonic knife was used here to speed up the process. When trimming of the cover is completed, clean off any plastic shavings and residues from the mechatronics and prepare for reinstallation. Reinstall the mechatronic onto the valve body and reconnect the harness. Torque the 5 mechatronic bolts to 10 Nm. Reinstall the valve body, the start-stop accumulator, connector, and all the T40 Torx bolts. Torque the T40 Torx bolts to 14 Nm. We will be using the Ing Power developing oil pan and filter later, so the original pan was reinstalled for now. Current controllers on the market can be split into 2 categories: direct valve body solenoid control, aka standalone, or CAN bus control. CAN bus type transmission controller acts as an interpreter by passing necessary data to the mechatronic. Physically, You're just plugging them into the transmission and they will communicate with the stock TCU.
These types of control methods maintains the OEM drive modes as well as allows custom parameter flashing by using tools such as XHP.
Most importantly, OEM safety features remains in place. This will be discussed later in the video series. With standalone controllers, they replace the TCU completely. That means you need to open the transmission, cut out the TCU, do some soldering, then put it back together. The advantage is they take over full control and allow trans brake and clutch kicks. Stay tuned for the next episode when we begin installation of the 8HP70 gearbox in our GS300.